Hello and welcome to the iMIS updates for Q3 of 2021. My name is Alison Rose. I'm a senior trainer with ASI Training. I'm going to give you a little overview on the latest updates for iMIS Enterprise, or otherwise known as 20-300. This update video is for version 20.3.98. Some of the new features for 20.3.98 of iMIS EMS Enterprise is Form Builder. We're going to look at forms and Form Builder briefly and explain how you can use forms for your website. We have invoice updates. There's been some changes to the finance module and some of the invoices. We'll look at order confirmations and how you can suppress or customize your order confirmation communications. Refunds are now manageable with iMIS Pay. And we'll look at some of the new reports that now come with Report Writer. So let's start with Form Builder. Form Builder is a new module in iMIS, a new feature that allows you to easily add your data to a form. You can create a simple form for your website using a drag and drop form builder. You can choose where to place your form using a form content item or iPart to add your form to your web pages or add other content items to your form page as well. And you can place your forms in multiple locations, either the staff site or your public website. You also have the ability to design your forms, and using Form Designer, you can edit text areas, headings, change page layouts, and apply form rules. Forms module has an advanced mode. It allows you to work with HTML as well to format how the form will render. And you can add custom tags, attributes, and advanced formatting. We do have a course in the ASI Learning Hub called The Essentials of iMIS Forms, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of forms now. Just note, iMIS Forms is an additional license module, so contact your AISP or your ASI Performance Improvement Leader to find out more about getting forms for your system. If you do have Form Builder, you'll find it in your staff site under Rise, Form Builder. Let's go and have a look at our form library. So iMIS Forms comes with one form to get you started called Contact Demographics. So if you have Form Builder Plus, you can add as many forms as you need. You can also categorize your forms by creating new form groups. So if you have Forms Plus, you can add a new form by clicking on Add New Form and create your form name. I'm just going to create a very simple form and select Add. Once you've created your form, you're now in your Form Designer, where you can add form elements such as headers or text areas by dragging and dropping into your form. So we could add a header, add a text area, as well as add the fields we want to use for the form. Some of these form elements are connected to your iMIS panels. Whatever data sources you've built or created in Panel Designer, you'll be able to find here. You'll have things like your contact fields, address fields, activity fields, single instance panel data sources, multi-instance panel data sources. As well as that, we have actions for them to complete as part of the form, sign up fields for your form, username, password, add a document, and or a capture field. I'm going to add a few contact fields by drag and drop, such as first name, last name, email. I'll also add a submit button at the bottom. Now in the form, we can also double click on the form field to open it up and relabel it, make it read only, required, even use it for a duplicate check. When we open up the submit button, we can also decide where we want to send the user once they have submitted this form. We redirect them to a shortcut, a URL or content page, or don't redirect them, keep them on the same page. Forms module also allows us to submit a form with validation, so the system will check. The system will check to make sure all the fields have been completed correctly. You can change your form layout by selecting Change Form Layout and use some of the existing layouts that come with iMIS. So you may have 2 columns, 3 columns, or choose whichever layout suits your organization. We can also add form rules by clicking on Add Rule at the bottom of your form and select the edit icon to create a rule, which means we can set certain conditions. So for example, if we say, if the company field is empty, then hide the functional title field. So you can choose some of those conditions: show fields, hide fields, make them required, not required, and so on. Once you've created your form, you can go into Page Builder, Manage Content in Rise, and on your website content page that you want to place your form, we'll click on Add Content and go to the Content Gallery. We'll find the Forms iPart is sitting under the Content folder. You give your form a title, select the relevant form from your drop-down list of forms, and there's some other elements of validation. Where do you want to place your validation summary? At the top of the form, the bottom of the form, or both? By submitting this form, it will create a new contact record. Now this was a create an account form, therefore I'm going to create a new record, and that will make them a non-member, and we can choose billing categories as well. We can also check for duplicates, so it could be based on an email or based on a query that we have created. So that's a little overview of Form Builder. Find out more by going to the ASI Learning Hub with your iMIS Learning subscription to review the Essentials of iMIS Forms course. We also have some finance updates. So some of the finance updates include invoice updates. A couple of elements have been added to some of the out-of-the-box invoice templates that are sitting under Continuum. That is the event invoice, order invoice, and invoice detail. Additional information from the financial entity has been added to the bottom of those out-of-the-box invoices, so we can see further information or add our own customized message to our invoice reports. Also, the due date field has been added to dues and pledge invoices. Payment history. There's been some additional line items and information on payments in our invoice summary. Find payments. Some new business objects and queries have been added to iMIS to easily find payments and payment information. And we can process refunds now with iMIS Pay, and that is in North America only at this stage. Let's have a look at each of those elements in more detail. So starting with the additional information from our financial entity that's been added to the out-of-the-box invoices. So if I have a look at this invoice number 2315, which is an order invoice, and we'll go to the Print tab to have a look at the invoice. So at the bottom of the invoice, we can see a little message about the annual conference. This is additional information that's coming from our financial entity. We find that under Settings, Finance, Financial Entities. We'll have a look at our demo financial entity, and on the Messages tab is where we find that additional information. So this means any text that you enter here will automatically display at the bottom of those out-of-the-box invoices. Invoice detail, event invoice, and order invoices. Additionally, I'm going to go and find a pledge in fundraising. So under fundraising, find gifts, I'll select the query of pledges. And if I look at one of these invoices, we'll go to the Print tab. This now has a due date on it, based on the date that the pledge is due. So our membership dues and pledge open invoices will also display a due date on the out-of-the-box invoice as well. Let's go into some payment history. I'm going to Pay Central, find payments. Now I can also search for payments by invoice. So there's a query at the top of the page, find payments or find payments by invoice. If you have the invoice number, you can enter that here to find the payment. Now this is showing invoice number by default. So if I select find just to find all the payments by invoice, it's going to bring up 0 results. So I'm just going to remove the invoice number and select find. And now I can see not only the payment ID number, but also the invoice number. You can click on the invoice, and on the invoice summary now, we have a payment section. So this will show all of the line items relating to payments. Sometimes we have partial payments, sometimes we have open credits that have been used against an invoice. And therefore we want to see that history and that record of those payments and how they've been applied. That's going to display in here now. So looking at another invoice here, This will show me that we had a payment of $75 and it has been reversed. So we have two payment lines displaying here now. Now, if you're using iMIS Pay as your payment gateway, under Pay Central, you'll now be able to process a refund directly through your iMIS Pay, rather than having to go directly through your gateway. So I'm going to go and find payments, and here I can also search for a payment based on a gateway transaction ID. This has also been added to the Find Payments queries. I'm going to find a transaction ID for Terry Walker, who paid $75 on their Visa. Now, if I look at this payment and I select Adjust Payment, and my adjustment type is refund the payment, I've got two options here. I can automatically issue the refund via Pay Central or record the refund only. I've manually issued the refund. I've sent the money back to their bank account, or I've issued it through the payment gateway directly. You will only be able to use the first option, automatically issue the refund via Pay Central, if this payment was made through iMIS Pay. You will have that option to select. The refund date will default to today, and then you can also select the amount to refund. So not only can you refund directly to their credit card, but you can also refund a partial amount. And when you select Submit, when you automatically issue the refund via Pay Central, that will do three things. It will refund the amount back to their credit card. It will mark the transaction as having been refunded in iMIS. It will update the balance of the invoice to the relevant amount. Now, please note, as I mentioned, processing a refund is only currently available to North American iMIS clients. But for those in other regions, watch this space. It is coming to you soon on a near future release of iMIS as well. Moving on from finance, we also have some report writer updates. For those that have report writer module or are looking to get report writer, now we have a number of new out-of-the-box reports. We've been working on developing the reports in Report Writer from our existing reports you see in Continuum as SSRS reports. So now there are additional reports on commerce, membership, labels, events, fundraising, and so much more. You can duplicate and customize those out-of-the-box reports as well. There's also some fundraising dashboards that come out of the box that you'll be able to have a look at or use or place on a page, but it does require Report Writer Plus to be able to customize those. But it does require the Report Writer Plus license to customize those dashboards. Let's go and have a look at our Report Writer updates. So I'm going into Continuum, Report Writer. When we come to Report Writer, we see a number of folders on the left-hand side. We have Commerce, out-of-the-box reports, contacts with some labels. Look at those in more detail shortly. Events, including event certificates, badges, program item certificates, registration lists, finance reports. There's an account statement, fundraising, and membership. You can easily view these reports out of the box as they are with your data by clicking on the report, and there's a little play button that will then generate the report on the right hand side of your page. You can then export the report as it is and print that report out. Now you'll notice all of the existing reports have a little lock on them. That's because they're out of the box, so you can't edit these ones, but you can make copies. Let's have a look at another report. I'm going to copy my 3UP labels report. So I'm going to select the Actions button and duplicate. Now I'll relabel the report. I'll call it AOST Mailing Labels. And I'm going to save it to a folder I previously created for my organization's reports. Let's go and have a look at that report. So when I click on play, I have some options to choose my values. Do I want to include companies in this report, individuals, uppercase, exclude address, and select OK. Here is my mailing label report. I can double click on the report to then edit it. And as I mentioned, we also have some dashboards sitting under fundraising, like fund performance analysis. If I click on the play button there, I'll see a dashboard based on dates. So some of these dashboards that come with Report Writer will be accessible for you to use. And again, if you do have Report Writer Plus license, you'll be able to make copies, duplicate them, and then customize them as you need to. Of course, we do have Report Writer training in the ASI Learning Hub for more information. Now, the last piece I'm going to look at are our order confirmation email updates for .98. And so previously, every time an order was created through the staff site or the website, an order confirmation email is triggered by default. And there is one order confirmation email that comes with iMIS. You can, of course, customize that order confirmation email, but you could only send one. Now, however, we have some options. We can suppress the order confirmation. So in the staff site cart, you have the option to suppress the order confirmation from sending. There is also an option in the order confirmation display iPart to disable or customize the order confirmation email. Customizing that email means you can create and choose a different order confirmation email for each order confirmation page. Perhaps you want to use a different email for your Give Now pages, or you have an annual conference and you have a different order confirmation email you want to trigger for that detail. Or someone's joined as a new member and you want to send them member-specific order confirmations, or you don't want to use it at all and you just want to trigger a process automation email. There's lots of options now, but let's go and have a look at that in the staff site. Let's first look at the options to suppress an order confirmation email. Let's go to Teresa Spain's account page, and on the Transactions tab, we're going to say, now Teresa's paid us $850 for the annual conference. Let's go and add that to the shopping cart. At the bottom of the cart, when we go to apply the payment, there is now an option to suppress the order confirmation email. When we submit the order, it will tell us the confirmation email was not sent, but we could still send a confirmation email to someone else. So that's available for staff users. I'm going to go into Rise, Page Builder, Manage Content, and under Core Content, in the shop, under Store Layouts, we have a default order confirmation page. I'm going to make a copy of that. Now you can obviously copy and customize that, or you may have already done that yourself, and then make your own order confirmation for various options. Annual conference, your donation pages, your membership order confirmations. This is the iPart called Order Confirmation Display. Now we have the option here for the order confirmation email to be a default. So send the default email, none at all, or we're going to send a custom email, and we can choose our custom order confirmation templates. So this is taking me to my communication templates that sits under marketing, and I'll go to samples, order confirmations. So there's a number of order confirmation samples that come with iMIS now. Again, they're locked, but you can make copies and edit them as you need to. And let's say for this order confirmation page, I want to send them this email communication. You have more choices in the messaging and the information you're sending to your members. For more information on the latest updates and what's new with iMIS, you'll find that information under the help.imis.com, iMIS Cloud Enterprise, under new features and upgrade changes. And this one is 20.3.98. Here is further information on Form Builder, customizing or suppressing the order confirmation template, processing refunds, new payment queries and business objects, finding payment options, and updates to the payment section at the bottom of the invoices, and the new out-of-the-box Report Writer reports list there. Thank you. I hope this has helped you understand more about your latest version of iMIS.